On today's show, Barb and I are going to make London broil. I have a couple of secret ingredients that I'll share with you. We're having a complete meal, so we're going to have applesauce and rice, and I have two special ingredients to put in those. So let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Diabetic Diet Show. Hey Barb, what's the question of the day?
Do you like applesauce? If you like applesauce, give a thumbs up.
Today, the London broil that I'm making, I have 2 cuts of meat. I have one really nice thick cut, and this is going to be a meal for the 2 of us. You can see how large this cut is. And then I also had some smaller slices made that are lunch meat size. So I'm going to cook all of this up at the same time so that I can have this for sandwiches. So let's start out with our pan and some oil. So I'm using olive oil today that is mushroom and garlic. And I'm just going to put some oil in the bottom. And then start my burner. Get this pan all nice and hot. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is to sear this up, just to brown it up. Now, normally when I buy beef for sandwiches, I buy roast beef. It's already been cooked, so there's really not much you gotta do to it. London broil is not that way. Now, London broil, if you try to cook it any other way than the way that I'm going to show you, it's not going to be all that great. Okay, you have to remember London broil is a cross between a steak and a roast. Somewhere in the middle, it comes from the top of the cow where the round roast is. So this needs to be cooked and tenderized, and when you do that, this will be absolutely the best beef that you've ever had. So we have a lot of really good ingredients that we're going to use, and one of them here is beef broth and chicken broth. Now I'm also going to be using water with this, and if you have 2 cans of beef broth, you could just do it that way and omit the water, but it's up to you. I also have some seasoning, and this is just seasoned pepper, and this particular one here is a Weber grill seasoning. I just used this last night. I made some really good sirloin steaks. This is just a really good seasoning. Now for the rice, while this is getting hot here, rice is simple. Rice, I have my water in equal amounts that I do my rice. Just like this. Put that in, and then some butter, and you know it takes 20 minutes to finish, and then it's done. Okay, this is getting hot. You can see the smoke a little bit here. So let's get this meat in here. Nice big piece. Just like that. And remember, I'm not really cooking it, I'm just going to brown it. Now that this is getting browned up, I'll put this other big piece back in here again. I kind of moved it out of the way just for a few minutes so that I'd have room for these smaller pieces. But you just want to brown this up. And this is hot, so I'm going to wear a glove here. That's looking nice. It's getting a good sear on it. while that's been browning up, I was just finishing cutting up the onions. So I'm going to throw in the beef broth. Listen carefully. And then throw in the onions. I have to kind of break them up a little bit with your hands, or you can do it later on with your tongs. This is a pretty simple meal to make, but it's going to be so good. My oven just got up to temperature. I have it preheating to 350. I have that all set, and I have some water. I'm going to put in just about like that much. I can always add more of that later. I have some broth, which is powdered, and I do have an exact measurement on this if you want. It's right down there where it says the subscribe button. If you click there, you'll see the more button, and the actual measurement is a tablespoon, like that. And if you're really crazy, go 2 tablespoons, because the exact measurement doesn't matter. Seasoning, black pepper or spiced pepper, whatever you want to use. At least 2 tablespoons of that. Palm is a tablespoon, okay? And salt and pepper. And I don't use a lot of salt. Don't mind pepper, but you can always add more salt later, but you can't take it out very easy. Just like this. Now all of these are going to go into the oven for about 3 hours. You're going to want to use your thermometer and keep an eye on your temperature. You know, you want at least 150 on this. So let's get the oven open. Just safer to do that. If you're by yourself, open it up. Put your lid on. And put it in. While that's cooking, I have my applesauce. So I have some cinnamon. Once again, about a palmful, which is about a tablespoonful. And you can always sprinkle more of this on later on when you put it on the table, but it looks good, tastes good, and you know cinnamon is good if you have high blood pressure, you're a diabetic, you want to use cinnamon. So let's wait for that to cook, and then I'll be right back. The timer is about to beep. I let it go for about 2.5 hours. I did check it once, and it was starting to get real tender, where you could pull it apart with a fork. Of course, if you go 3 hours, it'll probably be better, but I think it looks really good, and we're gonna pull it out now. So let's do that. Hot, hot, hot. I've also come to the conclusion that you need to have your pot about half filled up with that chicken broth and the water. So that's important. So here is what things look like. Here's our dish. And get some rice over here. Now you could also do this with mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes would be really good with this, and then the gravy. But we just decided to do rice with our meal, so. Okay. Nice bed of rice. And then grab out a big old piece of beef here. Wow. Oh, it's just falling apart. It It is so tender, it's just going to fall apart just like that. Wow. And then I have some of this to put right on top like this. Make sure you get some of those onions. And see, you've got all this juice here. If you want to, with the mashed potatoes, that would be really good. Well, if you'd like to see more of shows like this, I have some more right here.